Is digital primarily about customer interface?
I think you can think about it in a lot of different ways, and you can, if you think about digital, the effort that you're going to make, if you're a customer-centric company, and a lot of us try to be, certainly Sainsburys-Argos we try to be, and you're investing capital in creating technologies, who ought to benefit first from that investment? It should be customers. And that sort of value-led kind of way of thinking helps. It also helps sell it internally. Mm-hmm. Then it becomes pretty evident fairly quickly once you've made a couple of breakthroughs on the front end that, well, that's not really perfectly supported by our data collection in the back. We have this new storm of data coming, and we didn't plan for that because we didn't have a digital front end that would generate that before. And so now you can build the momentum to do it throughout the business. But I think, I don't know if it's primary or secondary, but it's leading with the customer, I think.
Some people believe it's the only story, though, I think, and that's where I think things perhaps go wrong.
Well, I think, to your point, though, it's about thinking about the entire architecture end to end and making sure that as you deliver new services and digital services in particular, that they're scalable to and flexible to the needs of your customer. I think where we're wanting to use technology and more emerging technologies is to enhance the customer experience and to really be more flexible to as people want to work and not just be a business hours interaction. So thinking about mobile first in that respect is going to be very important to us.
One of the things that's fascinating about working in the Argos and the Sainsbury business is that while we have this massive online presence and it's a big driver of revenue, we still have 1,000 stores, and more than 70% of collections happen in stores. And so the catchphrase is technology with a human touch. But what that translates into is I need great customer-facing software, but I also need to build great colleague-facing software because that colleague is in turn facing to my customer.
And that's the type of service they get that's reflected.
And you'll see very frequently, to your point, Bill, that a company will sort of spend all its money on the customer-facing digital bit and its best efforts for colleague-facing stuff. And in some businesses, that can work. I don't want to denigrate anybody who's doing that, but if you are in a multi-channel business, if you're in a retail business at all, it needs to be both, and you need to make an appropriate investment in your colleague-facing tools. And that's not even talking about, as Tata's quite famous for, not even talking about your supplier-facing tools and your vendor-facing tools. But it's not enough, to your point. It's not enough to just be customer-facing.
It was interesting, as we delved into this, we pulled out, as there's been 65 to 75 folks across the company, all different functions, and put them in an office for 2 months. And their whole discussion was, let's talk about the customer journey and experience with us. And the billing person has a point of view on that experience. You can say on the other side, the collections person has a point of view of that experience. The salesperson does, a support person, the engineering, product. And it was the holistic view that creates that journey and that experience. And so when you start to think about, at least for us, that the digitalization through that lens, it becomes really apparent very quickly. One piece may be able to move faster, but you're going to have to get it all to come together to get the value, right? And it was amazing that in such a short period of time, we could reinvent, redesign what our future state should be, all internally with all the folks that we already have.